Hey, my loves, and welcome to another episode of the Know Who You Are podcast. I am your host, Tamisa D, and over here on this podcast, it is a production of me journaling out loud, sharing my daily, weekly life lessons with you guys so that we can all grow in love, so that we can flourish in peace and prosper with the wisdom of knowing how to maintain it as we go through this thing called life. Listen, do I have a conversation for you guys today? We are talking about healing, the truth about healing, and the steps it takes to get there. Now, if you're anything like me, all of our situations are different. You have been through some things in your life. You have been through a lot of ups and downs. You've been through a lot of dark spots. You've been through brighter days. You've been through self-hatred, if I'm 100% honest. You've just been through a whirlwind of sometimes toxic, sometimes overwhelming, sometimes joyful emotions. Well, let me tell you something. As you go through this thing called life and you wake up one day and you have this grand epiphany that you're going to change, that you're going to shift, and you're ready to develop into something greater than you've been experiencing for the totality of your current life or circumstance. It's not going to happen overnight. One day you wake up and you realize that it's time for me to heal. It's time for me to let go. It's time for me to release. But nobody told you that with healing, with releasing, with moving forward, you have to sit through the pain of that thing called healing to get to the other side. Do you understand that if you are 35 years old and you decided a month ago that it's time to heal, that is 35 years of built up trauma, built up hurt, built up resentment, built up being disregarded, if that's your situation. It's not going to disappear overnight. It's going to take work, and it's going to take getting uncomfortable. It's going to take being stretched, which also makes you uncomfortable. There is absolutely no way to get to the other side of your trauma, to get to the other side of being broken, to the brighter days of healing. There's no way to get there without sitting through the pain of everything you've been through. Now, this is not something you hold on to as you're developing and becoming. This is something that you work towards. You don't have to do it openly in front of the world, in front of everybody. You can heal with you and God. With that Bible in your hand, with the prayers in your heart, with the thoughts of progression in your mind, you, my love, can heal. But you have to first recognize that you're going to get uncomfortable. And to be gentle, to be patient, and to be kind to yourself and maintain self-control as you go through recovery. Because healing is just that. It is recovering from the things that was put on you before you even had a say over it. You are blessed. You are loved. And the things that you've been through is just a part of a chapter in your life story. It's not the end all be all. There is definitely more for you. And I pray that one day, if you're not to the point right now where you are ready to get started with your healing journey and you know why you desire to be healed, because not everybody reached that point. But I'm hoping that if you have stumbled upon this podcast, that you remember why you started, you remember why you had that initial thought that it's time for me to heal, and that you can get strong enough to step away from your fleshly desires, because that is what keep you stuck in that sadness, in that darkness. A lot of people want to have these conversations But I desire to transform women in this world, to free them from the neglectful things that has been occurred to them in their life, to free them from the neglect that they imposed on themselves because of things they've been through, to free them away from the hurt that they had in their past, and for them to focus on what God has for them. My goal in this lifetime, my purpose is to guide women all over the world into knowing who they are, to guide them into knowing that they are a part of something way bigger than their minds that can even phantom and think of, that they are a child of God. King Jesus, our Heavenly Father, and He loves you. It's time for breakthrough. And not just a play breakthrough, not just a small breakthrough. It is time for major breakthrough. It is time for you to step away from self-sabotage. It is time for you to believe that great things are in store for you. It's time for you to understand that it does not matter what your right now looks like. It does not matter what your past looked like. You can still be used. You can still move forward into the glory of what God has for you. Stay strong and be open to healing. Be open to the shift. Be open to clarity coming into your life. It's okay to reflect on what you've been through, but it's also okay to hope for the things to come, to have a mindset of abundance, to know that you are loved, to know that just because you've been through some things, that does not stop you from being good enough to help others come out of those same dark situations, to help women all over the world to be delivered and to gain the knowledge that they are worthy. We live in a society that pushes you to be stuck exactly where you are. But I am here as a radical revolutionary to tell you that you do not have to be content where you are, and you could break free out of that bondage, and you can move forward into your breakthrough. You can move forward into your transformation. Know that you are enough. It's time to reveal the truth to ourselves and understand that our hidden potential is buried deep down behind the unhealed wounds of our hearts, the unhealed wounds of our soul. It is time to heal. I don't want this message to go over your head. I want it to stick, and I want it to penetrate at the deepest level. And I want you to know and to understand that you are worthy, you are deserving, and you matter. I want you to know who you are. I want you to know who you are outside of being a mother. Know who you are outside of being a wife. Know who you are at your deepest core, at your deepest root. Why you were created, why you are here. Know who you are on that level. This goes beyond the material world. This goes beyond going to buy a fancy car. This goes beyond buying that big house that you always dreamed of. This is about your soul. This is about radical change, about changing the narrative, not only for your sake, but for the generations to come. Do you understand what that really means? That is not to leave financial wealth for the generations to come, but to leave the thought that Jesus is real for the generations to come, to save the souls of the generations to come. Know who you are. You are beautiful. Remember why you started, because your story matters, and know who you are, because you have the potential to change the world. Master self-control. Ask God to reveal to you exactly who you are and move forward to the truth. Move forward towards freedom. Move forward towards transformation. All right, my loves. This has been another episode of the Know Who You Are podcast. Remember, authenticity cannot be duplicated. You are who you are. You are who God created you to be, and He made you that for a very, very certain reason. Don't ever forget that. Peace.